This evening, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali engages in discussions to establish a University of West Indies School of Medicine in Guyana. We'll delve into the implications of adding a UE medical school alongside the existing University of Guyana School of Medicine and how this could foster competition and drive innovation in medical education. Update to the GTU strike. Teachers across Guyana are on their second day of industrial action, protesting for better salaries, more benefits, and improved working conditions. We'll discuss the Ministry of Education's decision to no longer act as an agent for collecting union dues and the various initiatives benefiting teachers. Turning to workplace safety, we report on a tragic accident at the John Finance Wharf on Water Street, Georgetown, where a 60-year-old man lost his life after being crushed by a bobcat loader. This incident follows another recent workplace fatality, raising concerns about workplace accidents. In legal news, a former Venezuelan police officer was sentenced to 1 year in prison for possession of a firearm and ammunition without a license. We'll cover the circumstances leading to his arrest and the factors considered by the magistrate in handing down the sentence. Finally, return to Venezuela, where citizens continue to struggle with soaring prices and stagnant wages despite a drop in inflation. We'll explore the current economic challenges Venezuelans face, the impact of inflation on recovery, and the potential challenges ahead despite lifted U.S. sanctions. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for February 6, 2024. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, in a devastating workplace accident, a man lost his life after being crushed by a bobcat loader at the John Finance Wharf on Water Street, Georgetown earlier today. The victim has been identified as 60-year-old Trevor Jones of Mandela Avenue, Georgetown. According to initial reports, Jones was performing his duties at the wharf when a bobcat loader operating nearby accidentally collided with him, resulting in fatal injuries. Despite immediate efforts to assist him, Jones succumbed to his injuries at the scene. An investigation has been launched. This tragic incident follows closely on the heels of another workplace fatality just days earlier, where an excavator operator met a similar fate after being crushed by a heavy machinery at a sandpit in Dora, Linden-Susike Highway. This has prompted Minister of Labour, Joseph Hamilton, to express concerns about workplace accidents. He encourages both employers and employees to employ good workplace safety and health practices on the job. Meanwhile, teachers nationwide are now on their second day of industrial action. While many teachers have taken to the streets, waving their placards and chanting at the various education ministry buildings across the country, some teachers have opted to stay in schools but refuse to teach. Teachers across Guyana are on strike as part of the Guyana Teachers Union's planned industrial action, protesting for better salaries, more benefits, and better working conditions. Meanwhile, the government insists that the engagements with the GTU are ongoing, making the strike premature and illegal under current conditions. Additionally, the Ministry of Education has notified the Guyana Teachers Union that the government will no longer act as an agent for collecting union dues, citing a ruling by Chief Justice Ian Chang. This decision follows what the Ministry of Education describes as unlawful industrial action, alleged politicization by the GTU, and reported threats and divisive rhetoric. Despite this, the Ministry of Education acknowledges agreeing to most of the union's requests. It highlights various initiatives benefiting teachers, including duty-free concessions, grants for teaching materials, and simplification of administrative process. However, the GTU accuses the Ministry of Education of pulling back on proposed conditions. The strike is part of a multi-year agreement proposed by the Guyana Teachers Union in 2020. Teachers across various regions have voiced concerns about inadequate salaries and the burden of loans. Now, many teachers are questioning the government of Guyana's One Guyana motto. In other news, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has announced that the government is actively engaged in discussions with the University of Guyana in Trinidad and Tobago to establish a University of the West Indies School of Medicine in Guyana. This initiative aims to enhance medical education and address the shortage of healthcare workers in the country. Speaking at the commissioning of a modern pathology lab at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, President Stanley highlighted the government's efforts to ensure that tuition fees at the proposed institution in Guyana would be equivalent to those in Trinidad. He emphasized the importance of equity and quality in education, indicating that negotiations are underway to achieve this goal. President Stanley noted that while the University of Guyana currently has its own School of Medicine, adding a University of West Indies medical school would foster competition and drive innovation, ultimately leading to improved quality in medical education. Establishing a regional educational facility in Guyana is expected to contribute significantly to addressing the shortage of healthcare professionals in the nation. Stick around when we return. Former Venezuelan cop receives 1-year sentence for illegal possession of gun, and man appears in court for double murder in Currentine Village.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to kick off the new year with a bang? Digicel has an offer that'll make your January extra special. Imagine winning up to $1 million in free groceries in Digicel's $6 million groceries extravaganza. Simply top up with $1,000 or more, and you can be one of 6 lucky winners to enjoy the ultimate shopping spree worth $6 million. What are you waiting for? Start topping up today. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. A former Venezuelan police officer was sentenced to 1 year in prison for possession of a firearm and ammunition without a license when he appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court on Monday, February 5th. 48-year-old Alcides Mejias, a construction worker residing in Guyana, appeared before Magistrate Rondell Weaver, where he pleaded guilty to the charge of possession of a firearm and ammunition without a license. According to the prosecutor, acting on a tip-off, police intercepted a motor car in Georgetown on February 2nd, where Mejias and his girlfriend were passengers. A search revealed a .38 revolver and 2 matching live ammunition in his possession. During a video interview, the man confessed to owning a firearm for his protection, although he later claimed in court that it was for safeguarding his residence. He appealed for leniency, citing his past as a Venezuelan police officer and his responsibilities to his family. Magistrate Weaver acknowledged his plea, considering his age, first offense, and guilty plea. However, recognizing the seriousness of the charges, Mujias was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Moving on. 32-year-old Devon Stanley of Alverton Village, Quarantine Berbice, appeared at the Marie Curie Magistrates Court earlier today to face charges for the murder of Floyd Moore and Quincy LaRose between February 2nd and February 3rd of 2024. Stanley, a cane harvester, appeared at the Marie Curie Magistrates Court, where the case was transferred to the Wim Magistrates Court for further proceedings. The court heard that a post-mortem report were pending, but initial findings revealed that Moore died from an incised wound to the neck, while LaRose succumbed to multiple incised wounds. The altercation reportedly stemmed from Stanley finding Moore in bed with his girlfriend, who is also Moore's stepdaughter. Stanley armed himself with a cutlass and chopped Moore about his body. LaRose, who lives in the same house as a tenant, attempted to intervene, and Stanley chased and fatally chopped him. After initially fleeing, Stanley surrendered to the police at the Wim police station in the presence of a relative. He is scheduled to appear in court again on February 22nd. Don't go away after the break. Chile wildfires. At least 2 people arrested for suspected arson. And Pakistan elections. The country goes to the polls on Thursday.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In Venezuela, despite a drop in inflation, hardships persist. Citizens struggle with soaring prices and stagnant wages, while vendors face declining sales. Analysts worry about inflation's impact on recovery, foreseeing challenges ahead despite lifted U.S. sanctions. Al Jazeera's Mariana Sanchez reports.
When inflation fell from 300 to 190% last year, there was reason to celebrate for some in Venezuela. But the South American nation still has one of the highest rates in the world. With wages frozen for the past 2 years and low exchange rates, making a trip to the shop is a nightmare for Mariela Rodriguez.
Last year I would get food for the week with the equivalent of $20. Now I get enough for 3 days. Meat and fish are so expensive. My pension is $3.5 a month. What are we going to do?
The local Bolivar currency loses value against the dollar from week to week. Teresa Arcila says only God can help her.
I go shopping, praying, so I can buy all I need. Things are more and more expensive by the day.
Economists say the government is not raising wages to control inflation. But President Nicolás Maduro says things are better, with goods supply at 90%. Market traders say business is bad because customers don't have enough cash.
People used to buy 10 bananas, now they take 2 or 3. Spending has gone down all over the country. We are all affected.
In order to sell her products, Joana Martin says she lets customers pay weeks later.
There are people who spend many days of the month without a penny, so I let them take my products. They always come back to pay me.
The U.S. lifted sanctions on Venezuela in October. Easing restrictions on the country's financial, gold and energy sectors has boosted the economy. The condition to prevent sanctions being reimposed is to guarantee fair elections. Analysts say the road to recovery will be determined by the general election this year.
Economic sanctions and agreements could impact our estimation of inflation rates. We are not optimistic because in an electoral year we always see the rates go up. My most optimistic number is 170%.
That prediction of high inflation and soaring prices for the foreseeable future is the last thing these shoppers want to hear. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera.
Chilean authorities have arrested at least 2 people suspected of deliberately starting a wildfire on Friday that spread to large parts of central Valparaiso region. 122 deaths have been confirmed, but the number is expected to go up. Al Jazeera's Latin American editor Lucia Newman reports.
On the hills of the city of Viña del Mar, the destruction that began on Friday night is impossible to quantify.
There was the kitchen, the bathroom and the dining room.
Friends, relatives and total strangers volunteer to help residents clear the rubble left by the wildfires. In Margarita Villagran's case, from a 3-story home where she also ran a grocery shop. But she considers herself lucky.
My neighbor's father, my daughter-in-laws, 2 parents, the 3 children of a colleague, all of them burned to death. It's unbearable.
The stench of death is still strong here.
When the fire hit this neighborhood, many people rushed to their vehicles to try to escape. But there's only one narrow road in and out of this area, and so very soon the traffic was absolutely paralyzed, leaving many people to die sitting in their cars, unable to move.
The region's governor is angry and tells Al Jazeera that this was a man-made tragedy.
A handful of miserable monsters caused this, who came to destroy our city. We will hunt them down and imprison them, because they caused more than fires. These were murders.
At the morgue, sorrow and shock accompany those waiting for the remains of their loved ones to be released for burial. Among them, 2 sisters who lost their mother, and 17-year-old Trinidad, who died trying to save her.
I know that my daughter was a heroine because she never abandoned my mother and her grandmother. They were found together, their bodies in an embrace.
But there are hundreds of more presumed victims yet to be found. So many have come to provide DNA samples, hoping that forensic teams will be able to find and identify their missing loved ones. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Valparaiso region, Chile.
General elections are set to take place in Pakistan on Thursday, but with former Prime Minister Imran Khan in jail and his party facing a crackdown, another former Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif, is looking to capitalize. Al Jazeera's Asif Beige reports.
Lahore, the cultural capital of Pakistan. Punjab is the most populous province, and it's said whoever wins here stands the best chance of winning the country. It's considered a stronghold for Nawaz Sharif and his party, the Pakistan Muslim League. He held a campaign rally in Gujranwala.
I support him because whatever he has promised, he has delivered. Whatever he says, he does.
If anyone has helped the poor, it's Nawaz Sharif. He built a motorway. Anything good that happened in this country happened during his tenure.
Carefully shot campaign footage zoomed in on the crowds and gave the image of a packed stadium. But turnout was low, the stadium was not filled, and the mood was subdued. Sharif has been cleared by the courts, despite being convicted on corruption charges, sentenced to prison, and disqualified from holding public office for life. Now he's back and is considered by some to be the top contender in this election. But if he is a favourite, it's because the most popular politician in Pakistan is in jail for what his supporters believe are charges orchestrated to keep Imran Khan and his PTI party from seriously contesting these elections. No Prime Minister in the country's more than 75-year history has ever completed a full term in office. It's the military support that is seen as making or breaking governments here. Khan's party is facing what many consider is a military-backed crackdown, although the military denies accusations of influence, saying it's apolitical. On the streets, many people tend to disagree.
It's the military that does everything. Whoever they want will come into office. They have decided to make the Muslim League win. The elections will not be fair, but I will vote for the PTI.
We are voting for Khan and the PTI. What has happened to him is wrong. They removed his cricket bat symbol from the ballot paper, then stopped him from standing. The youth will vote for him.
I think we live in a democratic society, but we were not democratic. We're living in a dictatorship society.
Campaigning has been quieter than previous elections, and in some cases PTI supporters have been forced to campaign in secret. But people will have their say at the ballot box, and despite all the challenges and obstacles, Imran Khan's party, forced to stand as independents, may yet hold the balance of power. Asad Beg, Al Jazeera, Lahore, Pakistan.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the Friday weather forecast. And that's it TV2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.